So we are now 23 games into the JJ Redick experience with the Los Angeles Lakers. And things are not going well. After the 3-0 start, the Lakers are starting to look like the Lakers we have become accustomed to seeing for the last 2 years. As for someone that watches every single Laker game, I'm at the point of the season where I'm not surprised. The Lakers really do this every single year, and LeBron teams especially do this every single year. They either start good or bad, depends on how they feel that year, and then they go through this stretch in December and mainly middle of January is usually where it happens, where they just look terrible. They look disinterested, they look like they don't care about basketball, it looks like they forgot how to play basketball, and the whole team is just terrible. And then towards the end of the year, they go on a big push to make the playoffs, and then it's whatever. And that's what I fully expect. This team will make the play-in and make the playoffs. It's what they do. It's kind of how LeBron's teams runs. I'm so used to it at this point. So I'm not overreacting to the bad things that we're seeing with the Lakers, but I also am not happy about the position we're at. When they went to the Western Conference Finals a couple years ago, there was a big push of, hey, let's keep everything together, because in 2020, when we went to the NBA Finals, we blew everything up and tried to make pieces to get better, and everyone criticized us for that and said, hey, why not just run it back if it worked, which you should have done. But now it's like, hey, you need to make a trade, you need to make a move somewhere. The craziest thing to me about all this is that you talk about chemistry and getting everyone to understand their roles, and that's the reason why they really haven't blown anyone up. Obviously, there hasn't been a lot of moves for them to make, but the Lakers have had 8 different starting lineups this season already, 23 games in, and it reminds me a lot of last year with Darvin Ham. Last year, the Lakers had 19 different starting lineups, and we even saw that starting lineup where they had Cam Reddish, Jared Vanderbilt, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, a lineup that got ridiculed. It's clear to me that JJ Redick is coming through the same problems that Darvin Ham had. Now, I'm not saying they should have kept Darvin Ham. I believe they should have fired him because he lost the locker room, and after a while, you have to change things up. But the problem with the Lakers is not coaching, and it hasn't been for the last couple of years. The problem is this roster, and I know everyone's saying it, and I want to just get real practical. I'm not going to come in here with a bunch of advanced stats. Let's just get practical and look at every player in this roster and just kind of just dumb it down on what really is the issue with this Los Angeles roster. Going into every game, I have zero clue who's starting. I know it's going to be LeBron and Anthony Davis. That is it. If Austin Reeves is healthy, which he hasn't been recently, he's in the starting lineup. And then after that, you have no clue, right? Rui has been starting basically, I think, every game he's played this year. Dalton's been starting of late. They started Cam for a while. And then, of course, D'Angelo Russell fell out of starting lineup. It's a situation where the Lakers don't have enough two-way guys on their team and enough guys who can make a 3-ball to win in the NBA. And that's what the NBA is all about now. Like, I made a whole video about how NBA players are getting too good. And I basically talked about how everyone on the court now has to be able to shoot a 3 and defend 1 through 5. That is the meta for the NBA. That's what you have to be able to do. That's what the Celtics are doing. That's what the OKC Thunder are doing. That's what the Cavaliers are doing. The Lakers can do neither of those things. Now you come to a situation where I was just saying, JJ Redick is having the same realization as Darvin Ham. You cannot play Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell at the same time because neither of them want to defend the basketball. So because of that, you have to pick one. And usually it's Austin Reeves because he's a little more consistent than D'Angelo Russell, who's more of a streaky shooter. So they usually go with Austin Reeves. But now I have to bring in a guy who can defend. And since Jared Vanderbilt has literally not played basketball in basically 2 years, that option has been Cam Reddish. He's the best defender on this roster. The problem is with Cam Reddish cannot score the basketball. So you have to offset him with a guy like Rui or Dalton Connect. So then you can have the scoring. But then Rui and Dalton Connect are not really great defenders. So you need to make sure that Cam Reddish is guarding the best guy. Do you see what I'm saying here? You're basically using 2 spots in your starting lineup to get one guy, which is a guy who can play offense and defense. And that's what the Lakers have had the whole year. Last year they said, hey, well, let's double down on defense. Let's give us Vando and Cam Reddish. But then they had no offense. But if they go offensive, then they have no defense. And the Lakers are bottom 5 in defense right now. It only makes sense that, hey, this isn't JJ or Darvin's problem. It's a roster that's just not equipped to win in the NBA. If we go to this roster, I think the clear issue, and a lot of people say in 2020, well, they had Dwight and JaVale McGee, which I agree. Paint protection was great there. But I think a lot of people forget that 2020, you also had KCP, you had Danny Green, and you had Alex Caruso. 3 guys who were great wing defenders and they can switch on in any of the guys for big moments. So if you look at this roster, we're taking Jared Vanderbilt out because he has not played in 2 years. So we're not even going to count him because availability is the best ability in the NBA. Max Christie, I think, is a legit two-way guy, but he's still young and really is developing. I think he can be a two-way guy. I feel like he's one of the only guys on the team that knows his role that, hey, I'm here to defend and to score on the other end and knock down shots. He just hasn't done it to a very high level yet, but I think he's getting there. And that's about it. I mean, Gabe Vincent is supposed to be another two-way type of guy, but personally, Gabe Vincent's 6'2", and he had a great night the other night against Trae Young, but Trae Young's like, he's a smaller guard. Like, you can't go stick Gabe Vincent on Shea, stick him on Luka, because they're just too big for him. And on offensive end, he hasn't been who we saw him at in Miami, and lately he's been better, but still, Gabe Vincent hasn't been great. So you're telling me the only two-way guys on your team, which is Max Christie and Gabe Vincent, and one of them is undersized and the other one is young, it just makes a problem on the roster. So I think the biggest issue out of everything on the roster is you have too many guys that are quote-unquote specialists and who can only do one or two things on the court. We already talked about Max Christie. I'm not talking about AD. Rui's a great offensive player, but he's really not a defender. Jackson Hayes is just an athletic center who can rim run and can block some shots, but he can't do anything as far as shooting threes, so you need to have another stretch guy out there. Not going to go over to guys who really don't play much. Dalton Connect's a great offensive player, but defense, he still lacks. He's a rookie and doesn't really know what to do yet on the defensive end. Christian Koloko, once again, is another rim runner. Can't shoot the ball, so he's not stretching the floor. Austin Reeves is a great offensive player, but really just can't play defense. Cam Reddish is a great defender, but cannot play offense. D'Angelo Russell is a good offensive player, but does not want to play defense. Gabe Vincent, we talked about, and then these other guys just don't play or they've been hurt. And that's the Laker roster for you. And it's get to a point where now you are relying on 40-year-old LeBron James and Anthony Davis to do absolutely everything.
I'm looking at the roster. I'm looking at the development or lack thereof of the players around him. Whether it's Hachimura, whether it's D'Angelo Russell, Mr. Cruise Control himself, that's what I call him, okay? Or whomever else you want to come up with, Austin Reeves, high one day, low another, whatever the case may be. When you are a squad that is literally relying on Anthony Davis, who's a top candidate for league MVP honors this year. Top candidate. He's one of the top candidates for league MVP. He deserves it. But when you're relying on him and LeBron James, and you have nobody else to point to that you can trust,
right,
all right, other than rookie Dalton Connect, because I like what I'm seeing from him, and he's only going to get better. That's a damn shame.
It is.
I think that right there is the essence of the Lakers' problem. A big reason why they made that West Conference Finals, if you want to admit it or not, was because of Jared Vanderbilt. I mean, his ability to rebound. He's one of the best offensive rebounders in the league, and he was great for them to have another guy to rebound. And then his defense was phenomenal. You haven't had him for a year, basically 2 years. So you basically haven't had him. And the Lakers have failed to counter that. I mean, the Sixers are going through the same issue with Joel Embiid. So they went to go get Paul George. So at least they have two stars on the court at the same time now. Sixers have other problems. We're not going to talk about that. But that was their counter of, hey, if we know we're not going to get a lot of Joel Embiid, let's at least put another star. The Lakers are kind of just hopeful that Jared Vanderbilt will eventually return, and who knows, he's had another setback and he won't come back till January, we hope. And then it's going to take him time to ramp up and even be ready for NBA basketball. So you're talking late February, early March where you really get Vanderbilt back, and now you've already, like, JJ Redick hasn't even coached him yet. So you basically are 2 years without having a key player, and you didn't go grab somebody to replace him because you were just hopeful. I don't know. The Lakers right now are in the situation where I don't know where you go. I feel bad for JJ Redick. I mean, just look at his face. He looks exhausted.
Frustrated with late game execution. I
think he's right now like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. You know, I came in, I started what everyone thought, you start Austin Reeves and D'Lo, and now I understand why Darvin Ham wasn't starting D'Lo, because I just can't play them both together, and our defense is bad, and LeBron, let's be honest, he's at a point where he's not really playing defense because he's saving off offense. He can't be two-way for 48 minutes anymore. He's 40 years old. Anthony Davis is great, but he's going to go to his slumps. That's just how it is. And then you have where you're at right now. Like I said, I do think the Lakers will still make the playoffs. They did this last year. They did this the year before. They're going to look horrible for a while, but that's just the difference between them and an actual championship team. Going into the year, I didn't really have high expectations for this team. I was happy by the start. That I've been trying to really detach my emotions from this team this year, because usually I'm super hopeful that we can make a run or something, but I just don't think they got it this year. In all honesty, I think they're going to be probably a first, maybe a second round. Maybe they get out the first round this year, bounce. At this point, I think the Lakers are just more of an attraction. Sell tickets. Hello, we have LeBron James. Other than the team looking to compete. Anyways, let me know in the comments how you guys feel about the Lakers. I bet you they're probably in like a month or so. Actually, in a couple weeks. I guarantee in a couple weeks they're gonna go on like a 4 or 5 game winning streak, and everything's gonna turn to how the Lakers turned it around. Don't get fooled. They're the same team. They're gonna make the play-in. I'm telling you right now, they'll make the play-in, and then they're gonna get bounced. Unless there's a big trade. I know there's a lot of rumors. Brandon Ingram's been rumored around. If there's a trade, then we'll come back here and make another video. But until then, I don't see it. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you like, subscribe, like this video, and as always, God bless.